Hello everyone, and welcome back to Enter the Gungeon. Now, for today, it's gonna be a little different. I'd like for this channel to become more of like a fun place to be, not just for me, but for you guys too. So I thought maybe I can talk about weird, interesting, or random stories in my personal life that I experience the day of recording, that week, or any other point in my life. Because I do feel like I come across some weird things. So yeah, don't be surprised if that's what most of my videos turn into. But I think we're going to get going here. Now guys, the other day I came across an interesting situation, I would call it. So I go to a coffee shop every morning during my study hall, because it's like a 2.5-hour study hall. Don't have anywhere else to go, and I don't really want to sit at my school and do absolutely nothing. So I was at the coffee shop like usual. And I overheard a conversation, or a phone call actually. I don't know if I was supposed to hear it, but it was interesting. It could have been the employees, or just anyone else there, but I was just kind of listening. I probably shouldn't have, but I was. And it started out as like, hey, can I get 6 pounds of Gouda, 4 pounds of cheddar? And it just kind of went on with a couple different types of cheese. I was just thinking to myself, okay, is this person using this for personal things, or is this going to be for, a business, a restaurant, or this cafe? Because they do have like wraps and that do use cheese. And that kind of got me thinking about a lot of different other things about cheese. Like, how much is 15 pounds of cheese? So I looked at it. I looked at my fridge, and I don't know if it's like different depending on where you live, but like a standard block of cheese for at least where I am from, it's 8 ounces, which is half a pound. So 2 blocks of cheese is equivalent to 1 pound. That would be 30 blocks of cheese. That's a lot of cheese blocks. I mean, I don't think anybody would buy that for personal use. I mean, maybe someone like Markiplier would, not to like make fun of him or anything. I know at some points he has just eaten straight cheese during some of his streams or videos. Saw him take a block of cheese and just cut a piece off with a knife and just eat it off the knife. I mean, maybe it's valid that someone would buy 15 pounds of cheese for personal use. I mean, I looked it up even. I think it was from 2019, they said the average American eats 37 pounds of cheese a year. And then they had it written down that people from the EU tend to eat more cheese than Americans, which I guess isn't too surprising, because I think Italy is pretty big on cheese. And even from that, kind of made me think about, just people eating cheese in general, and how this one kid he's still in my grade, but in like kindergarten, he didn't like eating cheese. He didn't like cheese on pizza or anything. Don't know why. Maybe he just didn't like the texture or the taste. I think cheese just sometimes gets like a bad rap, especially for as far as like health goes, because people don't necessarily think it's healthy. It's got a lot of saturated fats and salt, which can be unhealthy for your heart and just overall body if you have too much of it. However, cheese is fairly healthy. I had done some investigating, because I did not personally know the health benefits of cheese, but cheese has a bit of protein. It's got some calcium, some fat. It's got a bit of vitamins. It's got vitamin A and B12, which are always good for you. And it's also got zinc and phosphorus in it, which are also good for the body. Yeah, cheese has a bit of health benefits, more than what I would think of anyways. And of course, those nutrition facts do vary depending on the types of cheese. And I was thinking about, okay, so different types of cheese might have different amounts of certain vitamins or proteins or fats and stuff like that. There are a lot of different types of cheese, and I didn't really think about it. So there are 6 different types of cheese, with 1,800 to 2,000 different subcategories of cheese. That's a lot of cheese. So the 6 main categories include fresh cheese, which is kind of like cheese curds. It's more soft. It doesn't really have a rind to it, so it hasn't been, it's like in the name, it's fresh. It hasn't been sitting to get that rind. After that, there is pasta fileta, Feta. It's like the smallest category, more like hand-stretched cheese. And then after that, there is bloomy rind cheese. Those cheeses would have more of a pillowy outside to them and more of a buttery flavor, so kind of creamy in a way. After that comes the washed rind cheeses. Those would have more of a orange or red rind to them, so they've been aging for a little bit. And they tend to have a smell to them, so it's like the stinky cheese or the smelly cheese. And that would include like Limburger cheese. That's a fairly well-known stinky cheese. The fifth type of cheese would be the aged cheese. Those have been sitting for a little bit longer and they're more concentrated with their flavors. Those tend to be more like Parmesan. They're not necessarily dry, but they're just not as moist as the other cheeses. I don't know why I chose that word to describe it, but I felt like it was a fairly good description. And last but not least, there is blue cheese. I'm sure a lot of people know what blue cheese is. And if you don't, well, it's called blue cheese for a reason. It looks blue, and that is because of the mold. Blue cheese is made with a bacteria known as Penicillium roqueforti. I don't know if I pronounced that last part right, but that's what it's called. And weirdly enough, I've seen recommendations to spread blue cheese on dark chocolate. I don't think I'm ever going to try that, but if you guys want to, go ahead. I don't know. I don't think I would like that combination. I do like cheese, though. I just like cheese in general. I don't think I've ever really had, like, bad cheese. I don't like blue cheese as much as others. The only type of cheese I never liked was a processed cheese I had. It wasn't like the single slices. It was like a more condensed, and it's like a cheese stick. It's just kind of odd tasting. I also don't really like Velveeta too much because it's just fake and you can tell it's fake. Of course, it is good for melting, so it does have its benefits besides the flavor. I mean, regardless of those few cheeses that I do not like, cheese is still good in general. It's got a lot of things you can use it for, of course. You can use it on salads, nachos. Nachos are always nice, especially for game days or, just hanging out with someone or going to a traditional restaurant. You can throw it on someone's head and see how they react. I've seen that a lot. It also tends to go good on chili or in chili. I don't know if you guys like to mix it in. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just leave it on top. Weirdly enough, I've also seen people mix in sour cream in their chili. I've tried it. It doesn't change it too much, but it does add a little something. I don't know how you'd describe it, but yeah. Cheese is not only good with chili, it's also good on sandwiches. A lot of sandwiches, actually. It goes good with different types of meats, different types of spreads. In addition to sandwiches, you can also make mac and cheese, which is very nice. You can make a cheese sauce. I made a macaroni and cheese for my anniversary one time. I made a creamy mac and cheese. I used a cheese sauce, which was actually pretty nice. Had like milk, and I've honestly kind of forgot what else I put in there, but yeah, very nice. You can also use it as a mouse pad if you'd like. It might not be very good, but your mouse would be happy. And I guess lastly, the thing I could think of for the uses of cheese would be to use it as another form of sandwich, which would be a grilled cheese sandwich or grilled cheese, however you like to say it. My school every once in a while has grilled cheese for lunch. The soup is always kind of cold, and the grilled cheese is always kind of cold too. It's not very good, is what I'm trying to say, basically. I don't know, I just don't think the school has a very good way to prepare stuff such as grilled cheese, or I guess just things with cheese in general. Actually, to think about it, we don't really have too many things for lunch that actually have cheese in them. Yes, there is lasagna, but it's not really too much cheese in there. It's more just meat. There's a lot of stuff behind cheese that you don't always think about. I mean, that sounds weird to say, but it's true. There's a lot of things you don't think about. It's kind of what I hope to unveil during these videos. It's just kind of weird things you don't think about, or maybe just get some laughs out of you guys about something weird. Like the fact that this whole video is basically about cheese, because who wanted to have a video all about cheese? Probably not you guys, but now you're getting it, so you don't really have a choice. I'm sorry to any of you out there who happen to be lactose intolerant. This video may be torture for you, as you do not have the luxury of eating cheese. Well, I guess you do, but you just have to deal with a couple consequences. Yeah, and if you don't really eat cheese too much and now you just feel like you want to, if you are curious what the best type of cheeses are out there, I did find something and it had recommended some cheeses based on some, I think it was world statistics as to what people buy the most or enjoy the most. So number 1 on the list was mozzarella. I would say that's pretty obvious. Mozzarella is pretty good. Second on the list was Parmesan, and I can see that. It's used on a lot of like spaghettis. I'm not really sure if I have eaten Parmesan on anything else. Thirdly, there was cheddar. I thought that actually would have been number 1 because I do use a lot of cheddar personally more than the other cheeses. But I guess this is a worldwide thing, so it's not going to be exactly what I think. Fourth on the list was Gouda cheese. Gouda is also pretty good. And fifth was Swiss cheese. Also a very solid cheese. Except not so solid because it does have a few holes here and there. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this a little interesting, a little entertaining. I definitely enjoyed it a little bit more. I felt more engaged, and I felt like I could just talk about cheese and not feel guilty about it. I think I'm going to kind of keep this thing up, not just talking about cheese, but anything else interesting that goes on in my life or things that I hear or see, experience, and etc. Anyways, guys, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.